It's another wrap-up show with John Schaefer and Jim Russell. It's presented by Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. And before we tell you about what happened this week at Dodgers Stadium, remember to subscribe. If you want exclusive year-round Padres content, subscribe. Hit that button down below. You see Jim pointing down below. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter as well, at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. Let's tell you about Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. If you have any need for auto, home, renters, or life here in San Diego, Mark Nimitz is your guy at Farmers Insurance. He's got over a decade of experience helping people like us find the perfect insurance products. And what separates Mark from the competition is his customer service and communication. He's just terrific. And if you click the link down below in the description, you'll get to Mark's website and let him help you and your family with your insurance needs.
If you have any questions about insurance needs or, looking for somebody to help you out, Mark is definitely your guy. All his information right above my head here, phone number and his email address. Email address is probably the best way to reach him. It's mnimitz@farmersagent.com. That's mnimitz@farmersagent.com.
So, Jim, a day after the Dodgers do not sell out Game 3 of the NLCS. Okay, they didn't sell out Game 3 of the National League Championship Series.
Sad.
That's factual. I mean, look at the box score. They didn't sell out Game 3. Now, they come back in miracle fashion in Game 3, right, with a late comeback. So you wouldn't think that you would leave Game 4 early when you have a similar deficit, right? You just overcame a 3-run deficit in Game 3. Otherwise, the series is over. So Game 4, you're trailing 6-2. Game 3, you're trailing 5-2. People left that game early as well. Game 4, mass exodus. A mass exodus of Dodger Stadium. I mean, there's a look at look at the parking lot. It was hard to get out.
I mean, look at that. First of all, that's just a beautiful sight to see all Dodger fans just leaving a game early, and there's potential for a comeback. Like every Dodger fan that left Game 3 early and missed the comeback. Tough scene, man. That is a tough scene. Brutal. And then not to sell out a NLCS game. I get it. It's at 2:00 in LA, whatever. But
dude, you won the World Series in 2020. You're not selling out the National League Championship Series the next year. And then look at this. It's a 6-2 game. It's not 30-0.
No.
Teams have overcome larger deficits in baseball history. The Dodgers had done it a day before. And now you got traffic leaving a game while it's going on in the postseason. I mean, that is incredible to me. Now, we saw what happened last year. I mean, the Dodgers came back from 3-1 down against the Braves in 2020. I think it feels different. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I think it's different now that it's not neutral site and there's fans in the building and the way that Atlanta's playing. This series should be over. I mean, the way the Dodgers have played in this series,
horrible.
This series should 100% be over. What is the crowd going to look like for Game 5? Honestly, are they selling out Game 5?
I think tickets are available at StubHub.com for like $50. Honestly, I'm not even kidding you. Last night there were tickets available, and whoever's the execs at TBS have to hate the Dodgers because the amount of crowd shots they're throwing in there, and just throwing in the subtle jabs at like, wow, late arriving crowd, and there's no fans here. And as soon as they get down like 4-0, mass exodus. There's a lot of fans that are leaving the ballpark. TBS has to have somebody in the production booth that just hates the Dodgers. And I'm cool with that. Like, hey, fine by me. You put people in a situation where they don't like the Dodgers, that's fine. But it's sad. It really is. I'm sorry. And we both don't like the Dodgers, but come on, man. This is just the funniest thing. Just leaving Dodger Stadium early, an NLCS game after you won the World Series last year, even though it was a fake 60-game season, and it's now going to be a dub.
Oh, I know. You won Game 3 in cover behind fashion. Brian Anderson, like you said, play-by-play voice on TBS, was taking shots yesterday at the Dodgers. He's like, oh, more people are leaving. They might have a similar feeling like the fans that left Game 3 yesterday before the Dodgers came back. By the way, I looked it up. I'm on StubHub right now. The cheapest ticket tonight, Game 5 of the National League Championship Series in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium, preferred reserve, $45. Top deck, $45. You're getting price. This is, again, it's deja vu. A year ago, they were down 3-1. and won the series. I mean, you could have
Yeah.
argued, I think after game 3, I would argue the Dodgers are the favorite to win the World Series, right? They win in come from behind fashion.
Mhm.
They're only down 2-1. They've got the next 2 games at home. I would have said they're the favorite to win the World Series. Yeah, it's 3-1. Yes, it's unlikely, but it's not over. And you could get into the building for $45.
John, last year, I mean, the more you look at it, it's just like down 3-1, but you're playing on a neutral field. So you're not, worrying about travel, and you're not worrying about the opposing crowd and all the factors. And oh, by the way, you're playing in the exact same ballpark. So the ballpark, same dimensions. Like last year, the more time passes, the more you have to look at it as that doesn't really feel like a regular, full, legit World Series. I'm sorry. It's just, and yes,
to
we
your
cover the
point,
Padres here, and I feel the kind of the same way as as we cover the Padres as well, because we all thought that 2020 was the start of something for the Padres, and meanwhile, the Padres feel like 2021 was the aberration, and the team is more like a 2020 team. Well, I think we now see that this team is really more like the 2021 season than the actual 2020 year. So,
you know what? It's such a good point. I was about to say that. Like, if you feel like we're taking an unfair shot at the Dodgers based on what happened in 2020, we've been pleading on this wrap-up show channel that what happened in 2020 with the Padres, and when you look at AJ Preller, his career arc, the fact that they're bringing him back, like, is 2020 the outlier, like you just said, for the Padres last 7 years? And listen, a lot of people feel that way. I mean, there's no question Padres fans would prefer to be in this spot. But make no mistake, Padres fans
right.
would love to be in the NLCS right now, down 3-1. I will say this. I'd be shocked if the Padres were down 6-2 in this year's NLCS Game 4, trailing 2-1, if that was the scene outside Petco Park.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
be
No,
absolutely shocked.
And there's not going to be a single ticket up for grabs, by the way.
No, you're not getting in for $40 to the NLCS.
Not even close. You might get $40 for parking like 2 miles away from the
I don't know
ballpark.
if you're getting $40 parking either.
I meant 3, 4, 5 miles away. You might get $40. Like,
maybe
if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
Listen, I mean, Dodgers fans want to pretend as if, this is the premier fan base in the sport. But listen, we don't make up the fact that when you turn games on at 2:00 in the afternoon, it's the NLCS and nobody's there. And then when you turn on a night game and the time, I looked at my watch, I looked at my phone, I'm looking at the time. This isn't 11 o'clock at night, Jim. It's 8:05. It's 8:05 Pacific. So you don't have anywhere to go. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, yesterday's game was early. We couldn't get there in time. Well, today's game started at 5 o'clock. So why are you leaving the game at 8 p.m.? So, I mean, is this really the premier fan base in the sport? They listen, they draw. Dodger Stadium's the biggest stadium. I mean, they draw 50,000. They draw 50,000 people, but
Dodger fans, come on. Like, there are some good, I know this is taboo, but there are some okay Dodger fans out there. Like, we know some Dodger fans, and they're really nice and whatever, but it's just so fun to just rag on Dodger fans when stuff like this happens. Because,
well, it's funny they rip on Padres fans for the building being 60-40 Padres, but then when the building maybe is 90-10 Dodgers, but nobody's there at the beginning or the end. I mean,
there's more Dodger fans at Petco Park this year than last night at the NLCS game number 4. Come on.
Dodgers fans leaving early, game 4 of the National League Championship Series. I think Padres fans love to see it. If you want more of our year-round exclusive Padres content, hit that subscribe button down below. If you like these videos, thumbs up. If you're a Dodgers fan, thumbs down. Follow us on Twitter at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. This has been the Wrap-Up Show, presented by Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Sad.